Alrighty, folks. Cody did something amazing in the last 3 or 4 days. He actually paid off his car. We are going to commiserate for a minute because both of us did dumb shit at 21 years old. We bought very expensive cars, very long terms. We laddered up our life. Don't do that. That's not the time to do it. But hey, when you pay it off, you wise up. It's a good feeling. Congratulations, Cody, for paying it off.
Thank you. Yeah, it was exciting. And it was a low rate, but I am stoked to have it paid off. Once it's done, it's done. I mean, you just never have to do it again. I was dumb and I bought a $60,000 car with 10 grand down, and I got a low interest rate and a $50,000 loan on a car that's now worth 15 grand. So
depreciation at its finest.
Yeah, if I didn't have the assets today, I would have a negative net worth still.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And that's what a lot of my friends are doing. I mean, they're getting these expensive cars and it looks cool, but they get these payments forever, and then they refinance it to lower their payment, and then they refinance it, and it never ends.
And then I deserve a new one, and they just ladder up again.
Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible, but I'm over that now. So excited.
Yeah. One of the things I want people to realize, we talk about this a lot, and one of the visuals I have now is this thing called the rat race. And really what it is to me is there's this wheel, right? And there's a rat, a hamster, whatever you want to call it, right? Running in the wheel. And what you guys don't realize is the size of the wheel is your monthly expenses. So the more things that you add to your monthly expense, like a $50,000 car, like a second car, whatever it is, that wheel gets bigger. And the last thing I'll say on this is the bigger the wheel, the more force it takes to get moving, and the more damaging it'll get if you fall off, right? If you suddenly lose your job, right? Because the bills keep coming month after month after month. What do you think of that?
Well, I listened a lot to Robert Kiyosaki still, and when I was getting started, even more so. And what he talked about was he got his cash flow up to 10, and I believe the number they said back then was they were living on 3 and a month. And they could have been living on 10, and they still would have technically been free. True. But the fact that they kept their expenses on the lower end allowed them to have a lot more certainty in that. And so, not creating this big wheel that you have to keep pushing, even if you can do it with the passive income, create that delta by cutting your expenses down. I mean, it's freeing, and it gives me a lot more certainty moving forward, even though I'm not making any more money.
Right.
On a personal level, I'm not spending hardly any money, and that's nice.
Yeah. Again, it's one of the things that's real subtle about that 10 and 3 number is they had 300% coverage, right? So again, they were living significantly below their means, and not enough Americans do that, right? And I, for one, didn't, right? I spent every freaking penny, Cody, when I was 30 years old. And, if I got a raise or a bonus, boy, that money went fast, because that was just conditioned to be, that's what you do, right? You get in, you get a good job, you climb the corporate ladder, you make more money, you buy more stuff. And it wasn't until I realized that, that was going to be the death of me, right? Because I couldn't do that for 40 years. Because again, recessions happen and risk, and I was in a high stress job, and just all these things that just pushed me to believe that it wasn't possible to do forever. And more importantly, I didn't want to have to do it forever. So Olivia and I got very clean and crisp on needs versus want, and we started stacking and creating disposable income, which became seeds for, hopefully a mighty forest. But it's not until you wake up and you realize what you've done to yourself that you can start moving forward.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it seems like a lot of people, especially in my age demographic, saddle themselves up with personal obligations because they're looking at the monthly, not the long-term effects. And I listen a lot to Dave Ramsey's channel too, and George Camel. And if you look at what the payment is and you just invested that rather than spending it on a freaking car, it's wonderful what it can do for long term. It can really set you up with that disposable income you're talking about.
Yeah. And again, the other thing about this story is that you don't have to do it forever, right? You can do it for a season, right? You bought a nice car, $60,000 car at 21. It's not like you're going to have to drive used cars, beaters, forever. But if you just have some delayed gratification, and maybe instead of 21, it's 31 or 41, the car will be nicer, almost guaranteed. And it just it will feel like a knit, right? As opposed to 30% of your take home.
Yeah. And back then I was consistently making like 60 grand a year from being a real estate agent, and the car payment was 8,400. So it's like, as a percentage of my world back then versus now, like it would have been stupid to ever do that again. Like that would be a massive payment today if you
Can you imagine?
I don't want to imagine.
No, that'd be bad. That would be. And again, the other thing is for a lot of people that get stuck on this wheel, you get a nice car, it means more insurance, better, higher end gas. Also means you may, you just do other things to kind of keep up with the Joneses. And that is a very slippery slope. If you start playing the keep up with the Joneses game, the nice car becomes other things. And pretty soon you're living right at the edge. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And it's not like I just had a whole bunch of cash and wrote a check for that car now. I mean, something I think could be vulnerable and good to share with the viewers is I did a refinance on one of the rentals to pay it off. So technically I financed my car over 30 years, but luckily that's paid for completely by the rental property and it still cash flows. And I moved personal to business, which is very freeing. Yeah. I mean, my equivalent payment went from like almost $700 to $100 and something.
Yeah. Because the term's longer. Yep.
Yeah. And the debt coverage is better. And so, I mean, it's
what? I am curious. I think I asked you this on one of the first episodes. I'll ask you again. So just you, not your fiance. What does Cody Davis live on today? Like, what is your monthly expenses that go out the door?
Honestly, like right now with the car gone, it's like maybe $2,000.
You know how freeing that is? I tell high school seniors this all the time. Like and frankly, I wish I could talk to more high school seniors, but I ask them all the time, could you live on $2,000 or $3,000 a month? And I usually say $3,000, right? So you're even below that. And all of them say, yeah, I could live on $3,000 a month. Now, in fairness, they don't know what life costs and they're high school seniors. But the point of the story is, if you can find a way to have a life that you enjoy, and clearly, Cody, you enjoy your life. Let's not say you're suffering. You're not living on the street or something. If you can find a way to enjoy life at $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, your chances of earning financial freedom are very high, because it's not difficult in this world to slowly over time buy assets, create assets that produce greater than $3,000 a month.
Yeah. And that's
like freeing.
Yeah. And it's going to get better because in that number, I help out a family member with their car, and that's $300 a month of that. And I pay for health insurance, and that goes away in a month when I get married.
Wow.
So it's like my cost is going to get so low that I couldn't get it any lower, really.
And again, this is not about having I'm not trying to paint a picture where you got to go out and try to live on $800, right? This is not a race to live on the least. It's an acknowledgement that if you can find a way to live on $2,000 or $3,000 a month and be happy, let me be very clear. I love your chances of becoming financially free. It's the people that say things like, and I hear it all the time, what is your life cost? $20,000, $30,000 a month. I'm like, dude, buckle up. It's going to be a slog to get to that number.
Well, I saw someone that I considered a friend a while ago, and they posted on Facebook, it's like $1 million a year is break even. And people get stuck with the vanity stuff of like looking at the gross income versus the net. And they talk about, oh, well, I have 14 million in real estate, but after their partnership splits, they got like 3.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. And the 3 doesn't pay them anything because it's levered up.
Yeah, it's levered up. You might even have an alligator for some months. Oh, that's yeah. At the end of the day, folks, financial freedom, getting wealthy, the process never changes. You got to find a way to create disposable income. You need to figure out your investment vehicle, become elite at that, and then do it for a decade.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
And do what actually moves you forward. I've talked with a bunch of people because I always try and get advice before I do stuff. And a lot of people said, well, just keep the car loan and invest the delta and you're going to make a spread. And I was like, is that spread going to make me feel at peace, or is not?
It's too hard. Right. Exactly. This is about peace. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And so wealthier people than me said just keep the car loan, but it also took them longer to achieve peace. And so my encouragement would be just do what brings you peace and long-term benefit at the same time. And you don't got to pick one or the other there, because some people say, well, I'm going to just plant all the trees and all the seeds that are going to be great in 20 years at the cost of today's peace. I'm like, well, you can do little things that bring you peace today. Drive a little cheaper car. I lower your car insurance. I was paying over $800. I think it was like $900 a month in car insurance. And I worked with Ashley on USAA, and it lowered it by over $600 a month.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean,
I've said this to you before. I have a feeling I'm going to keep telling you this. You are advanced beyond your years, right? You are acting like a 40-year-old in a 25-year-old's body. So that's meant as a compliment, not a slight. And I just enjoy these conversations because it's like I'm talking to somebody that's, my age, and you're younger than my daughter, which I can never forget. Cody, where can people find you and watch what you're doing?
Cody Davis Business Adventures on YouTube, posting twice a week. And yeah, it's been fun. I get to post every week on what's going on in real time. I posted an ethical video last week because
Nice.
I see people, especially with some of the stuff that's been going on. You see it in the news, and it's like people are pushing their ethical boundaries out, and so I address stuff like that there too. Because it's ridiculous to see what some people are going to do and say online from behind a keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. The keyboard warriors. Yeah. I put out a couple of videos on different topics, and the keyboard warriors are angry. That's for sure. Very cool. Cody, you're amazing, man. Thanks for coming back every week.
Thanks.